Okay. Call this meeting to order. Pledge allegiance. Scott?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Welcome everybody tonight. First item of business, approve the minutes of the regular board meeting January, organizational and regular town board meeting January. Motion by Jack, second by Brian. Yep. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, let's go into the report of the town clerk.
January 2025 report. I have miscellaneous dog fees of $15, clerk fees of $22, certified copies of $320, landfill fees and punch cards. It says $14,010, but it's more. I found that there's a mistake on here that was put in under building permits instead of landfill of 15,000. So just want, or 1,500. I just want to let you guys know that. I'll fix it, but I didn't realize it. Okay. Short-term rentals, 24,000. Dog licensings, 260,000. Of course, building permits of 1,598.50, but should only be 1,250. The rest should be up in. So total local shares remitted, 18,625.50.
All right, supervisors report for the month of January. Total monies on hand, $4,331,126.19. Assessor. Oh, you're going to do that.
Exemptions for renewals for senior citizens were mailed out last month. Many seniors have already returned their renewal forms. Due to a law signed by the governor in December 22, municipalities throughout New York State are now required to send additional second notices to property owners advising them that they may qualify for low-income senior exemption. The first notice regarding senior exemptions are on the backside of the January property tax bills. Sometimes that gets missed. So the law requires that every residential property owner receive a second notice regardless of if they've already have the exemption or do not qualify. The law states that these notices need to be sent 30 days prior to March 1st. Instead of letters, which many municipalities do, we were able to include the requisite information on postcards, which save the town considerable supply and postage fees. The second notice postcards were mailed out Thursday, January 30th, in order to conform with the 30-day requirement. In all, 1,107 notices were sent. Analysis of sales over the past few years indicates that residential property values in Warrensburg, as well as other neighboring towns, are still on the increase. However, sales volume is down. We are working with the Office of Real Property to finalize the town's 2025 equalization rate.
Jackal, you got the justice?
Yep. January 2025, Judge Fisk saw 79 cases, $5,097 in fines, $430 in fees, $21.21 in surcharges. Judge Ferrillo saw 47 cases, total fines $3,077, fees of $67, surcharges of $1,169. Total new cases for January 92. Total received for January $11,961. Town share for December $5,385.
Okay, planning.
There was one land use and development permit issued the month of January. In the January meeting, the planning board approved the application from Hickory Hills Ski Center to allow the establishment of 4 RV and tent camping sites. Now, the planning board or zoning board have meetings this month due to lack of applications.
Okay, enforcement.
Car was removed from Water Street Park area. Town Highway Department advised it had been there for a while and it was inhibiting snow removal. Renewed 7 short-term rental permits, issued 1 new short-term rental permit. We gathered information from non-renewing short-term permit. All owners have been sent renewal information. As of this report, there's only 1 property owner who did not renew or close their permit. The property is being monitored for compliance compliance with the issue of violation as soon as proof of renting can be established. Discussed and agreed to a settlement with town attorney with the owner of 3812 Main Street. As of this report, I'm waiting for a copy of the signed agreement from the property owner and his attorney. The property owner agreed to pay a $500 fine. After a lengthy discussion with the town of Monroe, I supplied them with our information for obtaining printed warning and violation notices, which we used. Inspected a complaint of light bleed from River Street property. Made 4 trips at various times. Complaint was not supported and was no more than light will be coming from street light. Checked Commercial Avenue for compliance for the court. Situation is about the same. Took photos and submitted them to the court. Myself and zoning administrator Patty Corlew site visited Schroon River property, which was found to be listed as a short-term renting property. Property owner was notified of several issues from no permits for septic installation and land use development. They also do not have in place any of the required items for a short-term rental property. Property is not rented during the winter. Property owner was advised when spring comes, he needs to either get the necessary permits, close the operation to the satisfaction of code enforcement, or he would be in court. Car abandoned at Riverside Gallery was removed. Sent all burn permits to the fire department. Contacted New York State Department of Health in Warren County regarding a complaint of cockroaches at River Street property. Site visited with zoning administrator Patty Corlew, Hickory Hills area, to get an eyes-on look at the proposed project at the property. Sent certified letters to Walgreens Pharmacy and to the owners of the building regarding exterior conditions of the property. These were tracked and received by them January 27th, 2025. A reasonable length of time will be allowed for their response, and if none forthcoming, a court appearance will be scheduled. Took the complaint of cockroach at 131 River Street, advised that the party that code enforcement has no regulation for this. I contacted New York State Department of Health and Warren County Health. Warren County Health was going to contact the complaining party and discuss their situation to look into the results. During the discussion of terms of warranty ability was discussed. I researched it and it may come to play in the future. These are implied rights given to tenants under New York State law, and I've attached a copy with the report for your review.
Highway?
Most of the month, they've been busy plowing and sanding all roads and sidewalks, also clearing out all the frozen drainage culverts and ditch lines to prevent flooding. That's submitted by Kennel.
Also, just let me go back for a minute. We're keeping track, AJ's keeping track of the snowfall. And we know that we got impeding, a lot of our storms that come on weekends, which poses a problem. But I will ask the residents, if you can shovel the sidewalks in front of your house or just keep them clear, that would be good. The people who are plowing off of the streets, we're having problems with them blocking the sidewalks when they plow a driveway or something like that. I remind them that it is law that you must keep those sidewalks open. That is a little bit of a problem. I know there's going to be questions asked about removing snow on Main Street. We've been in contact with DOT up here. Like everybody else, they've been inundated with these small storms, which takes a lot of manpower. We plan on getting the snow off of Main Street next week. Early next week. We have impending storm tonight, another impending storm coming on the weekend, which will use up our manpower. We're a seven-member highway department. We don't have a lot, but we will get the snow off Main Street by hook or by crook next week sometime. But I want to shout out to the crews. This last storm came in on a Saturday, and it's all overtime, but they were here. They did a good job removing the snow. It may be out again tonight. We know this weekend there's another storm coming. Could be substantial. So they're working a lot of overtime. They're tired. They're doing the best job they can, keeping the roads and the sidewalks clear. I just asked the public to try to help us a little bit. As far as the other departments, real quick, everybody's keeping busy. I did want to make mention of the new ice skating rink, or the ice skating rink that the folks put back over at the recreation field. They've tried real hard. I believe the kids are using it. They're enjoying it, and Tracy and the crew, a lot of thanks to them for putting skating back at the recreation field. So that's a good thing, and it is getting used. And the sewer water plants are running fairly decent. Landfill runs very well. January was the first month the county started hauling the MSW for us, and so we should see a reduction in our costs there. We also received a historian museum report and a youth report, which we do sponsor the youth ski program that Denise Foster at the school runs. She did a very good job. I think there was 18 participants this year. And we do contribute towards the ski program, and it seemed to grow a little bit more this year over what we had last year. Other than that, we got received communication from the library. And does anybody, do you want to speak on the library? Anybody want to speak on the library? I know
For
they're not
the
going to.
letter that we sent?
Hmm?
For the letter we sent to you?
Yes, we got
Yes,
the letter.
yeah,
Sure.
I'm Sarah Gebby Misek. I'm the president of the Board of Trustees for the Richards Library.
Yep.
We sent the Board of Education as well as the town of Warrensburg and the town of Thurman a letter letting you know that we're not exceeding the 2% tax cap this
Right.
year. And the vote for our budget will be on the Board of Education's budget vote in May.
I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you for keeping us informed. We did receive one letter, and I'm going to read it. It's a letter to the Warrensburg Water District staff and crew. I'm writing to express my sincere gratitude to the crew that responded to a water emergency on Jenny Drill Drive adjacent our Echo Lane home on October 17, 2024. While we were at work, a neighbor alerted us to the issue of water pooling near our house. And before we could send a relative over to check it out, Warrensburg Water Crew had already sent a team out. Apparently alerted by Tony Fruiter what happened who happened to be driving past. And Tony is one of our employees. A diligent crew worked throughout the day and well into the night to locate the problem and repair it with minimum interruption to the neighborhood water supply. We were impressed by their work ethic and the dedication to solving the problem. And we were so touched to see that they put down grass seed and hay on our part of our property that was affected. Wow, that's going above and beyond. We are grateful to be part of a community that takes care takes such care in their daily operations. I do not know the names of every person that was there that day, but I know Zach, Tracy, Chris Myers were working hard for sure. Our family is so grateful to the entire team for the quick response and repair and care taken that day. On another note, I wanted to share some perspective with regard to the process of paying quarterly water bill. Until I read the article in the Sun, it had not occurred to me that the practice of having our water bill levied to our town and county tax bill was putting a strain on the hardship on the water district. That may be sheer ignorance on my part, but I'm aware of many families that do the same. It is common practice, and I do not believe that the folks are aware it causes an issue for the district. Looking at the bill, it can be interpreted as just an alternative way to pay your water bill. Believe me, I'm not spreading the word since I learned that information. I feel bad that I was part of the problem. It is important for me that our bill be paid promptly without hardship to the department. With that in mind, I respectfully request that the town explore an online option for people to pay their water bill. I'm sure the suggestion has come before. Most people pay their household bills online or with credit card or debit cards. The easier the payment process for people, the more likely they will pay their bill on time and in full. Thank you for your time and appreciate the hard work that is done across the board to get clean water into our home every day. And sincerely, Lee and Paul Kane of 3 Echo Lane. So I think, Joyce, you've had conversations and we're going to try to make alterations to our payment schedule for water sewer, but it was nice. And that being said, I know Robert, who's out ill tonight, and John, who's not here, he's also ill tonight, that we started a employee recognition for a quarterly employee recognition. So I would say that we nominate the water sewer department as the employees of the quarter.
Absolutely.
If you guys are all right with that, and then we'll purchase a plaque. I think we're gonna purchase that one down in this one in the corner, and then we'll get it started. But good job by our water, sewer, and Tracy. Please let the boys know that we did read this tonight. So, and then I left everybody a brochure about Think Energy. That's a community solar discussion, and you don't need to decide tonight, but if you can let me know within a week if you think you want to sign up for that. That's a savings on your electric bill by using solar. There's all different ones out there, and that happens to be a local young man who is a salesman for that. Think Energy. Received an invoice from National Grid for the streetlight project, and we've already approved this. The invoice is on tonight's warrant. It actually came in around $7,000 cheaper than what we thought it was going to cost us to convert the lights over to LEDs. We should see anywhere between 20 to 30% savings once we do that, and it will take time. We're going to be on the list to get our lights changed, so eventually you'll see them all change to LED. And it should be a good savings to the town. That being said, on the other hand, in my grubby little hands is a complaint form to the Public Service Commission. Because I normally check the bills every month, and lo and behold, this month I got a nice lighting bill for $13,000. And I thought, that can't be. We didn't pay our bill last month. I went over and checked with Judy, and come to find out, sure was. So in their infinite wisdom, the supply cost on your electric bill has tripled since November. We used to pay 5 cents, then it went to 6 cents. Now it's up to 12 cents. And that's on the supply. So that is going to cripple, it's going to cripple us as a community, but I can't imagine what it's doing to all you with your personal bills. So you really should start checking your bills and seeing what the supply cost is. I did, my first call was to National Grid, very nice people, but they told me that the Public Service Commission allows them to do this. I said, oh, so I will contact the Public Service Commission. And I made out my complaint form. I also contacted both Senator Steck and Assemblyman Simpson and got some more insight to what was going on. They had a hearing on the state level, and they did grill NYSERDA and them, but this is unconscionable. This should not be allowed, and I don't know what to do about it. I would suggest that anybody here who feels that they can call the governor's office, because that's where it's going to start. We need to contact the governor. I'll be contacting the governor's office. And to add insult to injury, our propane, if we get in bulk, we get state contract price. It was $1.32 on the 8th of February. It's now $1.75. So that's about a 40-cent increase in the last week. So again, I called the supplier, same deal. A lot of it is because I believe that it's tied to the green energy that we're trying to do. And all these windmills and solar farms going up, they gave a lot of subsidies. And I think if it's costing these companies, they're passing them on to URI. So as I told my colleagues in the Senate and Assembly, I hope the governor has some extra money where she can give aid to the communities. It would be nice if we communities got some extra aid from state government for all these higher prices. That's what's going on, and I know you homeowners out there are feeling the pinch also. So let's see, what else we got? Oh, we talked about that. Okay, now the next we have to do a standard workday resolution for the New York State retirement system. You all have it in your packet there. So if somebody would make a motion to approve this standard workday reporting resolution. John? Brian, any discussion? This is something that we do as elected officials every 4 years or when our terms are up. We have to keep track of our time. And then it's reported monthly to the state retirement. If you're hourly employee, obviously it comes from our payroll department. If you're a elected person like myself, Brian, Jock, you have to turn in what you think your hours will be, and then they'll accordingly adjust your retirement costs. So that being said, the motion made, second, and all those in favor, aye. Okay, that's done. Next, we have a trade-in value for 938 cat loader. Every year, we try to stay on a 3-year trade-in with the highway department, and we got a little bit behind this year. But you can get a brand new 938 cat loader. Trade-in cost in town is $67,845. We did check with other suppliers, and it's about, my math would say it's about $20-some thousand cheaper than the next supplier that we would use. So they do this every so often. It's usually a John Deere versus a Caterpillar. This time, Cat came way lower. So we're going to do that. A motion to approve that.
I'll make that motion.
Brian, Doc, any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay. Next, I sent out a letter. We 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, we had applied for or had approved buying another tandem truck. And with all the ERV requirements, it was very difficult to be able to get a diesel plow truck. Well, luckily, those things are starting to loosen up a little bit, so we were able to do that. But one thing we had to do, we had to send a letter to DEC in Albany, and we're trying to get, and don't ask me what this stands for, the vehicle will qualify for exemption from ACT and omnibus regulation. I don't know what ACT stands for. I tried to find out, but it's a regulation that we had to do, and the truck can be used basically for snow plowing. So that's in your packet, and we did get approval back from DEC. Okay, they okayed us to go ahead with the purchase of this truck. Just another regulation. Next, we have a resolution request to accept the settlement agreement with Ash Real Estate Holdings at 100 River Street, formerly the property that housed the grist mill. We have a resolution. We had been in discussion with the owner of the grist mill. It's been quite a while to get that property cleaned up. We finally had a successful session last week with the Supreme Court, and we are agreeing to this settlement. The town gets $10,000 in our attorney's fees, and the grist mill, for all intents and purposes, has to be all cited by March 31st of this year. And if it's not done by March 31st, then a fine will be imposed at $250 a day. But we're very satisfied. I think the board is. I checked with all the board. We're satisfied with this. This ends a saga that started in November of 2020 when the grist mill burned. It's unfortunate, but it was done. I've pleased our attorneys, and we worked it out. So hopefully we don't have to do that again. Yeah, we need a motion to approve.
I'll make it.
Motion by Brian, second by Jack to approve the resolution. Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, carried. Okay, the next is a resolution request to put an ad in the paper for various boards. We need members for the Board of Assessment Review, at least one member of the Board of Assessment Review. We could use a couple people interested in planning board, and we could use the people interested in zoning board of appeals. Obviously, they're volunteer boards to set the bar. We do pay the members of the bar to be here all day in May. So I'll ask that anybody who's interested address your inquiries to the town, to the supervisor's office, 3797 Main Street. Anybody who has any time would like to serve in one of these volunteer positions, we could use some help. We have some vacancies, and it's a good start. It's a first start to maybe learn more about town government. So we certainly are looking for help there.
That's a resolution.
And we'll put the ad in the paper if you're all right with that. Now, we received our appraisals on the Water District property that we are offering for sale on Alden Avenue. You were emailed the information of how much the value was. The appraisal for the one property came in at $270,000, and the other property came in at $105,000. That's the appraisal was sent to us by an independent appraiser. So what we will do is we will put a bid, if the board approves tonight, we'll put a legal ad in the paper offering up these two properties for sale. And then people will have to come in and bid on them. And then we'll open the bids at the next town. We'll receive them up to 4 p.m. on the 12th. And then we'll open at 7 o'clock, March 12th. That's our next town board meeting at 7. Now, this is a bid process. We don't have to accept them. It'll be all laid out in the bid, but those is what an independent appraiser told us those properties are. Now, these are two properties. Perhaps you may get other people who want to bid on other properties. We do have 600 acres up there. And we'll look at that. We're still waiting for the appraisal to come back on Swan Street. We haven't got that yet. There's a few acres of land on Swan Street somebody's interested in. We'll do the same thing. We'll get the appraisal. We don't have that yet. So this would just be for these two properties up on Alden.
And just before you move any resolution, I want to make sure we're all on the same page. So the bids can be accepted on each of the properties. It's not that a bid has to be provided for.
What's that?
You're accepting bids for the properties individually. It's not necessary that they have to be a bid for one, for everything.
Yeah, we'll separate it in our
Entertain
legal
bids
ad. We'll have to make sure we have one property is worth so many acres, you
Yeah,
know.
okay, all right.
That's the way we'll write it up.
And just for the resolution, what you're authorizing is to place
Yeah.
a notice for bids for property on Harrington Hill Road, which is tax map parcel number 224.1-17, is that correct?
Yeah.
And then the other one is property located on Alden Avenue, identified as tax map number 223.16-1-3, is that
Yes,
correct?
that's the vote.
All right,
Yep, so we'll separate those and when we do the legal ad, make sure that they separate the bids. Okay, so somebody want to make a motion to put those up?
I'll make that.
Motion by Brian, second by Jack, to put them up for bid. Any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, carried. The way this works, if we do get bids and they're satisfactory to the board, then we would have to go do a 30-day permissive referendum. So there's another step in this whole process. We get the bids in, we accept or reject the bids. If we decide to accept the bids, then we have to do a permissive referendum, which is we put it out for 30 days and then it gives the public a chance to say yay or nay. And then we'll go on from there. So we're looking at least another couple months before we can move the property. And this is water district property, so the money will go to the water district. I need a resolution to approve the court records and receipts for 2024. We looked at those before the meeting and found everything to be in good order. Got Make the motion, Brian, second motion?
Yep.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. And then we looked at the bookkeeper's records and the cash receipts for 2024 also, and found those records to be fine. Brian, you make that motion, and Jack, you'll second it. Any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Next, the Gold Avenue Stormwater Project.
I see.
The Stormwater
Do you
Project.
want me to walk you
Yes,
through?
I know you're going to do it anyways.
Okay,
So we have a short form environmental assessment review form.
all right, so what our engineer, Cedarwood, has prepared and sent over are the environmental assessment form documents For the stormwater collection conveyance system that is proposed for Gold Avenue. And we did this not long ago for another project, so it's gonna seem familiar, but what the board's being asked to do tonight is complete the state environmental quality review act review. The engineering firm has guided you that this is what's called an unlisted action, which allows you, if you agree, to use the short environmental assessment form. Part 1 has been completed and provided to you, together with documentation regarding the project, some engineering plans, and it's your job now to make a determination of significance as to whether or not the project is likely to result in significant adverse environmental impacts. As you'll recall, before you can vote on that determination, you have to walk through part 2 of the environmental assessment form. And I will go through and read the questions for part 2.
Okay.
And for each of them, we're answering no or small impact may occur, or a moderate to large impact may occur. For everything you answer moderate to large, we'll need to address it in part 3, if you answer any moderate to large, okay? All right, so 1, will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations?
No.
Okay? Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land?
No.
3, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community?
No.
4, will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area?
No.
5, will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway?
No.
No, the small impact while they're constructing it. Yeah. So,
6, will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities?
no.
7, will the proposed action impact existing A, public-private water supplies, B, public-private wastewater treatment utilities?
No.
8, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? 9, will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources such as wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, or fauna?
No.
9, will the proposed action increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems?
No, it's actually no proof.
Right? And 11, will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health?
No.
All right, you've answered no to small for all of those. So it would certainly be appropriate at this time for you to entertain the resolution that Cedarwood Engineering has prepared, whereby the board would confirm this is an unlisted action for secret purposes and make a determination that the project will not have any significant adverse environmental impacts, adopting what's called a negative declaration under secret.
So that's the resolution. Verbiage is listed in our packet here. You need us to read it, or can we just?
No, I think we just gave a sufficient summary and you've had it in the packet.
Yes, the negative declaration for the town of Warrensburg Gold Avenue stormwater project. For those who may not understand, that area of the town has flooded for the last 3 years, pretty severe in the springtime, and we did some reconnaissance, have decided that the existing storm drain pipes were plugged. We couldn't unplug them because some of them were on private property. We've elected to reroute the pipe. We do have to cross some property owners, a little bit of property owners' land, but not a lot. And we're gonna go down out Gold Street over to Warren Street and then down the back around to what they could call the blind ditch. We'll run down Oak Street in through the old highway garage lot into the storm drain and out on Main Street. So we believe that will rid us of a lot of the standing water over there, and then we'll continue to work on the King Street side, if this doesn't take it off, we'll continue to work on the King Street side with the Warren County, because King Street, it happens to be a county road, so. But we feel that this will give relief to those residents. We sure hope so. And I know everybody thinks that we're crazy to be doing this in January or February, but this is when we could get the whole thing mapped out and done. I don't want to wait till the spring rains just to irritate them more. I want to get rid of the water before it rains and the snow melts in the springtime. So I need a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll make that motion.
Ryan will make it. John will second the resolution. You want to call roll call vote on this, Pam? Okay, go ahead.
Sure. Councilperson Rounds,
Yes.
Supervisor Gary,
Yes.
Councilperson Quintet.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. We also have a resolution request to approve a change order on the project for $7,500 because they did have to reroute the project a little bit, and they're removing 2 trees, and Brian knows about the project. He's been following this.
That's gonna save us on redoing the road too, so it's actually a savings in the long run.
So it's a $7,500 change order on the project, which has already been bid out. So somebody want to approve that? John? Brian? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Nobody's opposed. Okay. I got a few comments to make before we go to the warrants. I just want to thank everybody again for paying their taxes. And we actually collected the town tax money the 3rd week in January, a little bit ahead of last year. And I appreciate everybody who still has faith in us to do a good job with the town and pay their taxes. And that includes the people paying their water sewer bills. Although we're still short, if they decide they want to pony up, that would be helpful. And I talked about the skating rink, which is something, I had requests from the kids. And, we took it to heart this year. Tracy did a lot of research on how we could get something that would hold the water, and they've done an excellent job. They got their homemade Zamboni. They towed Joe Phillips around with a towel behind him, and he's a Zamboni. So, thank you, Joe. And then I talked about the ski program. So next would be to pay the bills on warrant number 2. There's a lot of bills this month. We're paying $395,457.31 worth of bills. So somebody want to make a motion to pay warrant 2?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Brian, second by John. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. If you get a copy of the agenda, you'll see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those payments are going towards capital projects. And capital projects are the projects we got in the hopper to start. So you see that we still have a little bit of work left on the sludge project. The highway garage demo, it's down. We've got a little bit more work to do over there. Putting a new pole barn up by the landfill to house some of the extra equipment from the highway department. Obviously, Gold Avenue Stormwater Project, Richards Avenue Crosswalk. Lo and behold, we are going to put a crosswalk on Richards Avenue across from the health center. We've been waiting almost a year. It'll be a year in June for that, but that was going to happen this year. And then we'll pave the Richards Avenue parking lot. And last but not least, we're going to put a new well house on one of our older wells at the county home site. We're going to put a new well house around that. It's been there since I was a kid, and that's quite a while. So it needs to be replaced, and we'll be doing that. That being said, I'll open up any comments tonight from anybody in the public. Anybody? Pam?
Do you want to do the pro housing?
Oh,
resolution?
pro housing, yes. Yes. There's a lot of talk about housing. And one of the things we need to do is pass a resolution that we can send out to do pro housing. The reason why we didn't do it initially is because when we did our research on how many new homes we had, we didn't meet the threshold. But I'm being told by everybody that we should do this resolution
If you don't meet the threshold, the resolution is still,
yes.
you're making commitments that therefore qualify.
And I've also, Warren County has a full complement of planners now. And our planners that we use for our projects, the CB Community Block Grant, they're interested in working for us again. They were successful in getting Main Street grant. They were successful in getting the CBG grant. And then they'd like to go after this pro-housing. Housing grants are gonna be there for us. We just need to be prepared. And perhaps with some of our land on Alton Avenue or some other areas in town, we may be able to do this. So I'll ask that we do this pro-housing resolution. We have it here. We believe that the lack of housing in New York State residents of all ages and income levels negatively impacts the future of New York State's economic growth and community well-being. Whereas the housing crisis has a negative effect at regional and local levels, we believe that every community must do their part to contribute to housing growth and benefit from positive impacts a healthy housing market brings to communities. Whereas we believe that supporting housing production of all kinds in our community will bring multiple benefits, including increasing housing access and choices for current and future residents, providing integrated, accessible housing options that meet the needs of people with sensory and mobility disabilities, bringing economic opportunities is vital to our communities, and allowing workers of all levels to improve their quality of life through living closer to their employment opportunities. Whereas we believe that evidence showing that infill development that reduces sprawl and supports walkable communities has significant environmental and public health benefits. And whereas we believe that affirmatively furthering fair housing and reducing segregation is not only required by law, but is essential for keeping our community strong and vibrant. Now, therefore, it is hereby resolved that the town of Warrensburg, in order to take positive steps to alleviate the housing crisis, adopts pro-housing pledge, which will have us endeavor to take the following important steps. And it lists the steps. So I'll ask a motion to approve this resolution. Motion by Councilman Patel, second by Councilman Rounds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Boy, I could sure use a water. Anyways, so anybody else got anything off tonight? I know we've covered a lot. We have a lot going on. We're busy, even though it's winter time. And like I said, our crews are busy. Please cut them a little slack if they don't get out there. Like I said, we've had calls on sidewalks. We've had calls on the snow on the street. We're doing the best we can. And please help us all you can. And John, anything to add tonight?
No, I'm just smiling.
Yep.
I like leaning on his chair.
We do have a street light out at the corner of Gold and Warren, right where they're gonna be doing that project. So I just wanna record that before.
Yeah, we actually have 18 streetlights out, and they've all been reported to National Grid. So
I didn't want the contractor.
anything else?
No.
John's ill, Bob's ill, so we're healthy. Pam, anything else?
No.
Jackie?
I have some things that I need you to sign before I leave, but
Okay.
nothing.
Okay, anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
And a couple more things from the library.
Sure.
Our library director just finished our 2024 annual report. We're starting to get pre-COVID numbers back, which is great. We're seeing more children using the library, more programs, and more people attending the programs. So we're getting back up to where we used to be. We're currently working on our strategic 5-year plan. We sent out a survey to the community, and we're using their responses to develop that plan. We're also using the town's comprehensive plan and the county's comprehensive plan and the census data to kind of give us some ideas. And I just wanted to note, when you guys are implementing some of your plan, please keep the library in mind for some things that we can partner with you to help you fulfill some of these things. Specifically, expanding broadband access. When COVID happened, we were huge Wi-Fi hotspot, and Wi-Fi continues to be a really well-used resource in our library. So if that's a way we can help, as well as in the plan, you talk about having more information on community spaces that are available for rent. In our basement is our community room that people can use for free for meetings, workspace, trainings, workshops, anything you can think of. So things like that where you might want to think outside the box and see how the library can help you with some of these things. Also, as the last note for the library, we're looking for one more trustee.
Okay,
We're down by a person for like the past year or two, and our board just works better when we've got one more person helping fill in. So if you know of anybody that's interested in serving on the library board of trustees, please let us know.
we had an internal conversation about maybe partnering up with the library this summer. You know, our summer youth program was
Mhm.
reduced to 4 days. And we were thinking maybe we maybe would talk to you about the 5th day, about doing something there this summer. Also, the broadband, if you get a lot of people in with lack of broadband, if you can record them, I can put you in touch with the regional planning board or Warren County Planning, and we can get those addresses. That would be very helpful.
Okay.
So we can get the dead spots. So anybody comes in with concerns or doesn't have it in certain areas of town or even in other towns, get it to us and we'll get it to the regional planning board so they can get that information out to the state. You know, there's still broadband, also cell service. I mean, cell service is important. You wouldn't think in 2025, when you drive from Orangeburg to Lake George, you lose your cell service at the bridges if you have AT&T. And it's crazy. You know, I don't, and the cell service is just as important as broadband is. So if you can collect some of that data, that would be very helpful.
Yeah, I can ask. We try to collect a lot of data so that we can submit our annual report to the state every year. So.
And like I said, you can either bring it to us and we'll get it to the planning department, or you can call Lake George Regional Planning, Beth Gillis.
Okay.
And that's gonna be really, the more information we get to them, the better off we'll be in the community.
Okay.
So I appreciate it. Yeah, and you know, I was able to make the open house last year.
Yes.
Really, really impressed with the library. It's come a long ways.
Yes.
And
And yeah.
I don't have my library card, but it's come a long way.
we could use another library card
Yeah.
user. We track those numbers too.
Yeah. Anybody else?
No.
Oh, yes.
You know I'm not gonna sit still. I'll try not to get caught in the glare. No, I got it. Claire Bates, I'm on Lower Main Street. It's a little late, but I just want to thank everybody that supported our concerts this summer. We broke all attendance records. I had people stop me. The band was so good, where are they from? And I said, if you like them, tell me. If you don't like them, tell Kevin. That's known as passing the buck, but we averaged 70 people for every concert. And I'm very pleased with that. People can't believe that there's no cost. So that helps.
Yeah.
But I mean, we had ladies from Saginaw, older than me actually there, and that's old. But we had good attendance, and thank you for letting me get involved with this.
Oh, now you need to get involved.
Yeah, I know.
Stay involved.
But thank you.
Well, thanks, Claire. We're working on the schedule for this summer, and we hope to have as many concerts. They are popular.
Yeah,
So, you know, I do want to get that Elvis impersonator.
okay. Oh, yeah, I think he'd be good.
Yeah, okay.
Number one on the list.
Yeah, okay. Anybody else, please?
When you're talking about housing and stuff, just a suggestion to the taxpayer, Jim Hall, Warrenburg. The governor's all hot with all this stuff about housing and build houses, but you gotta have a place to build them. And unfortunately, we live in the APA, and the places to build them are shrunk. So it might be a good time for like every town in the county to get together and get a hold of Steck and Simpson and say, okay, how about expanding our hamlet out a mile from this where we are now? And that would give us room to build places. They want you to do all this stuff, but they might tie your hands so you can't build anything. And that's the problem you have here in town. Is the first thing you get outside the hamlet, you gotta send them to the APA. So they may
Another
budge or they may not, but
Another thought I've had on that, it's something I've tried to work on, is if a developer comes in and they develop, say they carve out 30 lots, the minute they get them surveyed and broken into lots, they start getting that many tax bills. There's gotta be a way for developers to come in as an enhancement program to not get a new assessment until the new house is built or the lot is sold to somebody
the
else.
board would have to do that, I would think.
Yeah.
But, the state wants all these things. It might be a good time to get the state to budge on moving these hamlet lines out. I mean, a mile's not a long distance. And that would give you room more around town where we could push stuff. But
That is a priority for the Adirondack AATV, the Adirondack Association of Towns and Villages. One of our legislative priorities this year to go get the API to expand the hamlets in all the towns
Yeah.
in the API.
I mean, it would help them.
We've talked about it. You know what happened to us when we.
Yeah, I do.
expanded the hamlet.
I spent a year and a half working on it.
On Main Street, but yeah, that's important, especially if you're in the park. You do get handcuffed sometimes, and they need to work with the communities, not against them. So, anybody else? Good meeting tonight, appreciate all the comments, and KJ, get some sleep. You're gonna be out tonight. All right, we are adjourned, thank you. All right, good meeting, thank you. Appreciate it. I think it was a good meeting.
Here, shut this. End the meeting.
And I'm seriously,